An ideal for which I am prepared to die is an extract taken from Mandela's autobiography, A Long Walk to Freedom. We all know Nelson Mandela was a South African anti apartheid revolutionary, politician, and philanthropist who served as President of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. And he was the country's first black head of the state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. His government mainly gave importance to, or not importance, put an end to the legacy of apartheid by tackling institutionalized racism and nurturing racial conciliation. He served as president of South Africa. South Africa. No, he served as president of Africa National Congress from 1991 to 1997. He was born in Weso. He studied law and later he became involved in anti-colonial and African nationalist politics, then joining ANC, African National Congress, and co-founding its youth league. He was appointed the president of African National Congress Transvaal branch and rising to prominence for his involvement in 1952 anti-apartheid defense campaign and 1955 Congress of the People. Mandela was repeatedly arrested for seditious activities and was one of the activists unsuccessfully prosecuted in 1956 treason trial. He was influenced by Marxism. He secretly joined South African Communist Party. He committed to non-violent protest in association with SACP, that is, we say South African Communist Party. He co-founded the militant Umkhonto we Sizwe. Umkhonto we Sizwe is an organization, as I told you, founded by Nelson Mandela, and the title means the spear of the nation. And in 1961, he led a sabotage campaign against the government. In 1962, Mandela was arrested for conspiring to overthrow the state and sentenced to life imprisonment in the Rivonia trial. The chapter we have to study is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. It is an extract forms Mandela's speech made from the dock of the trial court on October 1963. Mandela was considered as the first accused and facing death penalty. In his speech, he makes the statement of the ideals of the African National Congress, and he denies that he was a communist and describes himself as an African patriot who is prepared to die for his ideals. Here Mandela have cherished an ideal of a democratic and a free society in which all persons live together in harmony with equal opportunity. And at the end he said that it is an ideal which I hope to live for and to see realized. But my Lord, if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. It completely says about what are the beliefs of Mandela and how to make free how to make free the African state. And he says that the struggle of the black is for a national one, and it is a struggle of the African people, and it inspired by our own suffering and their suffering and their experience. It is a struggle for the right to live, and this speech inspired millions of people throughout the world. And next he says many things that they want Mandela speaks for equal political rights, because without the equal political rights, their disabilities will be permanent. And it is something revolutionary to the whites, because the majority of voters are Africans, and this makes the white men fear democracy. And he says about poverty. Hundreds and thousands of Africans are thrown into jail each year under past laws. And poverty and the breakdown of family life have secondary effects. Children wander about the streets of the township because they have no schools to go in, or no money to enable them to go to school, and no parents at home to see that they go to school, because both parents, if there are two, have to work and keep the family alive. This leads to breakdown in moral standard and to a shocking rise in illegitimacy and growing violence, which erupts not only the politically but everywhere. And here he again stressed that they are somewhat living in ghettos. African men want to have their wives and children to live with them where they work, and not be forced into unnatural existence in men's hostels. Then the other main obstacle to the economic advancement of Africans is the industrial color bar, by which all better jobs of industry are reserved for the whites. Moreover, Africans are not allowed to form trade unions, which have recognition under the Industrial Conciliation Act. Then as I told earlier, education, they were given education like Bantu education bill passed by the Prime Minister, and there was a debate on Bantu education bill in 1953. It meant that there were given no education, and the Prime Minister states that what type of education should be given to an African child will be determined by the Africans, the whites. That means we can understand that there is no education given to Africans. And the complaint of Africans is not only that they are poor and white are rich, but the laws which made by the whites are designed to preserve or protect the whites. And he suggests that there are two ways to break poverty. One is by formal education, and the second is by worker acquiring a greater skill and providing higher wages. And we can see in the chapter he says that the whites enjoy the high standard of living, while Africans live in poverty and misery. And our Mandela dedicated his life for the struggle of the African people, and he fought against white domination and against black domination. He have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony with equal opportunities, and that was the ideal that is the ideal he hoped to live and want to realize. But if it is not possible, he is ready to die for his ideal.